Well, as you can see, we are pretty much out in the middle of nowhere. We're not even on a road anymore. I literally had to cut out through a milo field to get to this building where this car is at. So, like I said, we're a long ways out west. I think, I'm not sure because I didn't quite go that far, but I think the end of the earth is like right over the other side of that hill, something like that. That's kind of out in the, when I say out in the middle of nowhere, that's kind of what I'm talking about. So, but it's cool. It's worth coming after. It's rough and it's not complete, but these cars are getting so hard to find that I definitely want to come after it. Got to be a little bit careful. I was just noticing as I'm getting ready to get the building open back up, these trees around here. This is kind of what I'm dealing with on these trees. So really don't want to run into too many of these things while I'm trying to get the car out. So anyway, that being said, let's open the door up, check this thing out. Well, there she is. Early 70s, small back window Camaro. I think it's a 72, 73. I haven't even looked at the trim tag on it yet. We came and looked at it a while back, and I figured I'd get a better look at it once I got it dug out of here. So let's get busy, and we'll take a quick look at this thing in there. And then we're gonna get her sucked out of here. And then get it, probably have to run it through the car wash on the way back to town, blast this thing off so we can get her back to the yard and take a better look at it. Well, here she is exactly as I found her. Like I said, this was a stalled project. Got tucked away in this old building. I think this was kind of like an old granary. They stored stuff over here in these side bins. This thing got tucked away in here. And this is where she sat. Obviously been in here for a day or two. Had some critters that I believe have made their home in, on, and or around it. I guess it's a good thing the car doesn't have an interior in it because of that. But there she is. Let's get busy. Let's get this thing, get the tires aired up, get this thing sucked out of here, get her back to town, get her blasted off, get a little bit better idea of what we've got here. Okay, she's ready to come out. We got the winch hooked up. She's up to the door. One tire will not take air, so that's going to pose a little bit of a challenge. Hopefully it'll roll up there. It is a front, so I'm hoping it doesn't throw my steering too wonky. But we're ready to load, so let's get this thing sucked out of here, get her back out in the daylight. we got this little Camaro finally rinsed off, ready to get a good walk around video on this thing. It is a 71. It is just a roller, but it's not a terrible body. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this was an abandoned project. You can see the primer, you can see the quarter skins that have been put on it, a door skin. So someone had started on this car. These early 70s small back window chrome bumper cars are getting hard to find, and this car still really does have some potential. Like I said, somebody started on it, put quarter skins on it, but as we peek inside of this thing, we'll see the floors are all still pretty much intact. Now, they're not perfect. There's a little bit of rust in them, but they're not terrible. They're not gone. So even where they need to be fixed, at least there's something there to work with. The dash structure is there, the column's there, the cluster's gone. We come around the back, we can see some of the original lime green paint still here on the package tray. Work our way on around the back, we see the 4 taillight holes of these early 70s era cars. Take a peek inside of the trunk. And once again, it's got a little bit of rust in it, but overall it's here. It's not one of those cars where you just open the trunk and you're literally looking at the ground. Over here on the passenger side, kind of more of the same. Lots of ideas, lots of things started, just never really came together. Take a peek over here in the passenger side. Once again, we see the floors intact. Somebody's vacation sticker from Worlds of Fun still on there. And not perfect, but it's there. So, like I said, this is just a roller. There's no motor or tranny in it. But we're going to go ahead and take a peek under the hood. We'll take a look at the trim tag on this thing and see if we can learn a little bit more about this 71 Camaro. Like I said, this car would be a lot to restore it, but if somebody's building a race car, drag and drive car, pro touring car, you know, this would be a good car to start with, because a lot of the stuff that is missing on this car is going to get replaced with modern components anyway. So even though it's a little rough around the edges, it is a 71. It is a decent body to work with, and it still has a lot of potential for a car like that. So let's take a peek under the hood, see what's there, and then check out that trim tag and see if we can learn a little bit more about this car. Now, under the hood of this old Camaro, not a lot here. Like I said, this is just a roller. Does still have the power brake stuff there. It was a power steering car. But like I said, this thing is a project, and not a lot left here under the hood. But of course, anybody that builds this thing, a lot of this is going to get changed and modified anyway. Let's spend a second with the trim tag on this little Camaro. Starting up here, we see 71 for the year, so we know it is a 1971. 12,487 Camaro Sport Coupe. And then we see the L right here, so we know this car was built in Van Nuys. It's a California car. Had this been built in Ohio, it would have said NOR for Norwood. So this car was actually built at Van Nuys. And then the sequential body number. Over here we get to our trim. 778 green standard interior, paint code 43 for lime green, and 2D. So this car was built in the 4th week of February of 71. And then based on the research that I found, these numbers here were just production numbers that from Van Nuys that really didn't say anything particular about the car. But one thing about it we do know, it is a 71 for sure. It had a green interior, and it was a lime green car built in California. Well, there you have it. From driving out in the middle of that Milo field, getting that old rickety wooden door open, getting her pulled out, getting it here to the yard, getting it rinsed off, and taking a little bit better look at this 1971 Camaro. So, as you can obviously tell, this car would take a lot of work if you wanted to restore it to original. But if you're building a drag and drive car, a race car, something like that, this would be an outstanding candidate. So, it is a 71. It is a workable body. So, I think this car still got pretty good potential. So, especially for as hard as these early 70s cars are getting to find, you just can't find much to work with anymore. So, we're super excited to add this one to inventory. So, you're interested in this old Camaro or any of the other 2,000 cars and trucks we've got here on the ground at Nobody Else's Auto, just give me a call, 620-786-4428. Having that short conversation about your project, year, make, model, body style, the parts you need, or what you're looking for a project. I need all those specifics to know if I may or may not have something here that can help you out. So, texts, emails, private messaging, none of that ever has enough information on it. So just give me a call so we can have a short conversation. Be more than happy to see if I've got something here that can help you out, even if it's this old Camaro that would make a good project for you. So, hope you enjoyed this one. Stay tuned. We've got a ton of cool stuff coming up. I have bought an insane amount of inventory so far this year, probably more than I've ever bought in a year to this point. So, we've got an amazing amount of stuff coming up. So, definitely click that subscribe button because we've got so much cool stuff coming up. You don't want to miss any of it. So, hope you enjoyed the Camaro. Stay tuned. We got a lot more amazing stuff coming up. Thanks for watching this video, and we sure hope to see you soon on the next one.